So, hello guys, my name is Nandana R. I'm from BSc B.Ed Physics third year. So, I'll be dealing with my seminar topic is dyslexia, and we know that dyslexia is a very common learning difficulty which is related to reading. Okay, so next, as we know that dyslexia has been understood in different ways over a long period of time. Okay, so in simple terms, dyslexia means it is a condition where the child finds it hard to read, write, or spell, or even to even to they receive a proper teaching, and even to they have a normal intelligence. What they will be they find it hard to read, write, or spell. Okay, so it is related to brain process language. Okay, it is actually related to brain process language. 1 minute. It is actually related to brain process language. So for example, if what the child might mix up the letters, or the child will read the words incorrectly, like reversing, or the child will read the words by reversing. For example, they will read the word now as wrong, that is what just reversing or rearranging them. For example, the child might mix up the letters or read the words and incorrectly, like rearranging them. Okay, so dyslexia has been around for a long time and has been defined in different ways. For example, in 1968, the Federation of Neurologists defined dyslexia as a disorder in children who, despite conventional classroom experience, fail to attain the language skills of reading, writing, and spelling commensurate with their intellectual abilities. So going to the next slide. So this is what I have told. Okay. So as per the definition which is given by the National Institute of Neurological and Stock, dyslexia means it is a brain-based type of learning disability that will specifically impairs a person's disability to read. So it affects the person's disability. It actually affects the person's ability to read. Okay. So next is example, reading the word now as worn or left as spelled. That is, the words may also blend together and the spaces are lost. Here, the words appear as blending together and the space between the words are lost for that student. So, the student will find, or the person with dyslexia will find it difficulty or hard to read, write, or spell. Okay. So next, let us go to the causes of dyslexia. Okay, so this it is often seen in families, so the genetics is playing a role. Okay, so it is also connected to how the certain parts of the brain is functioning during reading. It is actually connected to how what the parts of the brain is functioning during the reading. Okay, so yes, I'm sorry, 1 minute. Okay. So, dyslexia risk factors include a family history of dyslexia. So, in the previous slide was actually saying about how the dyslexia is related with genetics. Okay, gene. Okay. So, next is dyslexia risk factors include a family history of dyslexia or other learning disabilities. That is, if a family history is having this type of learning disabilities, the causes are very high. Okay. Next is premature birth or low birth weight. That is the complication during the pregnancies. Exposure during pregnancy to nicotine, drugs, alcohol, or infection that may alter the brain development in the fetus. Next is the individual differences in the parts of the brain that will enable the reading. Okay, that is actually the that is the main cause of dyslexia. That is the individual differences in the parts of the brain which will help in reading. Okay, so the differences will be there in the part of the brain which will helps in the reading, and that causes the dyslexia. Okay, so that is as you can see here in this slide, a brain of a dyslexic reader and a brain of a efficient reader. So as you can see here, what efficient reader, what more parts of the brains are working for that, while that of a dyslexic reader, only less parts of the brain are working. So efficient working of the brain is much needed for a efficient reader. So while in the case of dyslexic reader, it is not happening. So because of that, the person will find it hard to read. Okay. Next is the types of dyslexia. So the dyslexia can be mainly, it can be grouped into three main categories, that is primary dyslexia, secondary dyslexia, and trauma dyslexia. Okay. Now let us deal with the primary dyslexia. So this is the most common type of dyslexia and is a dysfunction of, rather than to damage the left side of the brain, cerebral cortex, and it does not change with age. Okay. So there is variability in the severity of the disability for individuals with this type of dyslexia, and most who receive an appropriate educational intervention will be academically successful throughout their life. Okay. So, unfortunately, there are others who continue to struggle significantly with reading, writing, and spelling throughout their adult life. As this primary dyslexia is passed in family lines through genes, this is the line which I was talking before, or through new genetic mutations, and it is found more often in boys than in girls. So, mainly here it talks about, it is a very common type of dyslexia. Primary dyslexia is a very frequently seen type of dyslexia, and it is actually, it is linked to the functioning of the left side of the brain. It is actually the dysfunctioning of the left side of the brain, that is the what cerebral cortex, and it does not change with the what age. Okay. And also there is variability in the severity, means the level of the difficulty differs from person to person, and also some of them will improve with lot of a support and also educational intervention, while others may continue to face these challenges. Okay. And it is also said that it is mostly observed in boys. Next is secondary dyslexia. Coming to secondary dyslexia, it is also called development dyslexia, and this type of dyslexia is caused by problems with brain development during the early stages of the fetal development. So, development dyslexia diminishes as the child matures, and it is also more common in boys. Okay, so secondary dyslexia means it is the issues which is caused during the early development, that is fetal development, that is especially during before what birth. Okay. So as the child grows, what these symptoms will reduce, but still during all these years that support is clearly needed. And also here also it is also more commonly seen in boys. Next is trauma dyslexia. So this type of dyslexia usually occurs after some form of brain trauma or injury to the area of the brain that controls reading and writing, and it is rarely seen in today's school age population. So it is not very common among the school children, and also it is usually happening when injury happened to the brain areas which is responsible for reading and writing. Okay. So this is the three types of dyslexia, that is the primary dyslexia, secondary dyslexia, and trauma dyslexia. Next, we will talk about the sign and symptoms of dyslexia. First one, there are several indicators that the child or the person with dyslexic child with the dyslexia will show. So the teachers and parents can notice the symptoms. First is delayed early language development, means they will have a late speech development. Next, problems recognizing the differences between similar sounds or segmenting words. So they will have a difficulty in identifying similar words. Next is slow learning of new vocabulary words, difficulty copying from the board or a book, difficulty with learning, reading, writing, and spelling. A child may not be able to remember content even if it involves a favorite video or storybook. Problems with spatial relationships can extend beyond classroom and be observed on the playground. And the child may appear to be uncoordinated and have difficulty organize the sports and games. Next is difficulty with left and right is common, and it is often dominance for either has not been established. Okay, so that is usually the symptoms are, first one is the late speech development, and they will have difficulty in identifying the similar sounds, and they will also have trouble in learning and remembering new words, and challenges in reading, writing, and learning. spelling, etc. So also difficulty in copying notes, and what confusions between left and right. Okay, next is also the poor coordination in activities. Next, as you can see, it is a normal efficient reader's brain, while this is the dyslexic reader's brain. Okay, now let us see the educational techniques. Okay, so while talking to the educational techniques, we know that the dyslexia can be managed effectively with the right teaching strategies. And also this, if the strategies are started early, this will make or this will cause a big difference among the students. So teachers will often use multi-sensory methods. That is, they will involve method which involves seeing, what hearing, touching during the what lesson or during lecturing. Okay, for example, the students may trace the letters while listening to the sounds, which helps them to understand better. Means they trace the letters like this. For example, if I'm writing a, they will trace the a, and they will trace the letter like this. So actually what the students may trace the letters while hearing them or while listening to the sounds, which will helps to understand them better. So let us read the slide. Educational techniques. So, dyslexia is treated using specific educational approaches and techniques, and the sooner the intervention begin, better. So, psychological testing will help your child's teachers develop a suitable teaching program. So, teacher may use techniques involving hearing, vision, and text to improve the reading skills. And helping a child use several senses to learn. For example, listening to a taped lesson and tracing with a finger the shape of the letters used and the words spoken can help in processing information. Okay. Now, let's just see the treatment. Treatment. Learn to recognize and use the smallest sounds that makes up words. Understand that letters and strings of the letters represent the sounds and words. Comprehend what he or she is learning. Read aloud to build reading accuracy, speed, and expression. Build a vocabulary of recognized and understood words. That is what understanding the basic sounds in words, and also connecting the sounds with the letters, and improving the comprehension, means improving the understanding, and practicing while reading aloud, and also expanding the vocabulary. So these are some treatment for dyslexia. Next is the role of parents. So as you can see that the role of the parents means, first what they have to do is, first they have to identify the difficulties early, and they have to read together with the students, and they have to touch or stay in touch with the teachers or the students, sorry, of the or their schools. Next, they have to encourage the reading habits among the child, and being and they have to what act as a, or they have to being a role model for their child by reading themselves. So role of parents: address the problem early, read aloud to your child, work with your child's school, encourage reading time, set an example for reading. So as you can say that, as a conclusion, I have to say that dyslexia means it is not about intelligence. Okay, so it is just our that the dyslexic students brain processes language differently. Only that, it is not about intelligence. They are also intelligent people, but their brain processes in a different way. Okay, so with proper guidance, patience, and also support, children with the dyslexia can perform well, and also they can achieve success. Okay, so that's all about my topic. Thank you.